Hey, beautiful people of the internet, how are you guys doing today? Hopefully great. Welcome back to some more Warframe. We are of course going to be talking about Excalibur, aka the poster boy of Warframe. If you didn't know, right now we're currently on the first week of the 10-year event for Warframe. Along with this, we are going to be getting ourselves a whole bunch of good stuff, especially that Warframe skin for Excalibur. If you want to know the details of the 10-year anniversary event or all the rewards you need to get, there will be a link down in the description to that particular video, and of course it will be suggested to you guys at the top right. So go ahead and take a look at it. But before I continue with the video any further, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like to support me or the channel any further, do remember to leave a like on this video. It does help me out substantially. Spartan the subscribe button for more Warframe videos and streams. We also do have a merch store, so if you would like to go and help out your boy during these tough times, you can go and do so by taking a look at our merch store. There will be a link down in the description. We also do have a Discord server, so if you guys are a lonely tenor who needs some general assistance, advice, or wants to hang out with yours truly, you can go and do so by joining the link in the description to our Discord server. What are you guys waiting for? Go and join, as this is the Discord server to go and be. Without further ado, let's get this video on the road, shall we? So just like every other Warframe build, we're going to be going over their abilities because we have gone and utilized the helmet system. So as you guys know, Blood Altar is from a Warframe known as Garuda, and Blood Altar allows us to then go and impale an enemy, therefore we can then go and suck out their life force, therefore we can then go and heal ourselves. You guys can actually go and do this particular move 3 times until the previous one does go and disappear. It does scale based on power strength and duration. Next up is we are going to be talking about Radial Blind. This is a very powerful move. Not only does it provide crowd control, but also gives you the ability to then go and execute a whole bunch of enemies. Pretty good ability, allows you to get out of any sticky situation that does go and arise, which does scale based off of duration. The more duration you have, the longer this particular ability will last. Next up is we do have Radial Javelin. Now in the past, this particular ability was absolute doo-doo, but now given the new augment that I have put on called Furious Javelin, it is absolutely insane. So the way it works is simple. Radial Javelin just simply goes and impales nearby enemies, therefore inflicting bleed status procs. The status procs are great, but they're not a large amount of numbers. However, we are going to be taking full use of the augment called Furious Javelin, which gives us more melee damage per target we then go and hit. And as I forgot to mention to you guys, the 4th ability for Excalibur is called Exalted Blade, which will allow us to then go and summon a Divine Sword of Pure Light, which will then go and work exactly like an exalted based weapon. You start swinging, you'll start seeing all of these slash waves coming out the weapon, therefore slicing the enemies into pieces. Outside of abilities, we have also utilized the Archon shards. As you guys can tell, we've got 2 blue ones and 3 red ones. The 2 blues essentially just give us more energy max, so we've got 100 energy or more energy pool, and on top of that we do have 3 Crimson Archon shards. As you guys can tell, we are going to be gaining 30% ability duration. Just because of the fact that while making this build, I was coming across 2 problems. 1, my Exalted Blade did not last as long as I'd like it to do so, and 2, the other problem is that the energy pool was just too small, therefore I could not go and utilize all of these other builds. However, these abilities are still very energy hungry. We do have quite a bad energy economy, so I do suggest you guys go and use these abilities with caution while paying attention to all of your actual uses of the abilities themselves. So let me know if you guys want me to do a fashion frame video. If you guys really do enjoy my Excalibur's look, I can definitely go and make some details, or I can make another video. Let me know if you guys are interested, and I'll definitely make that video. Alright, so as you guys can see, here is the build for Excalibur. We do have 4 Forma. I don't exactly know if we do need 4 Forma for this build, as I've been putting a lot of resources. I've literally sent Excalibur to 5 to 4 different helmet surgeries, so I believe it's 3 to 4 Forma. I'm not too sure, I do apologize, but I'll go through everything like so. So as you guys can tell, for aura we have changed it from a Y polarity to a D polarity, therefore we can then go and fit a mod called Combat Discipline. Combat Discipline is very important because we'll then be able to go and proc Arcane Avenger. Arcane Avenger will then give us an increase to our overall critical chance by 45% if we then go and get damaged. That's exactly what Combat Discipline does go and do. Next up is we are going to be using Power Drift, Archon Intensify, and of course the Furious Javelin augment. Now these two is for power string. We need more power string, mainly because of the fact that we can then go and make sure that our status chance on our Exalted Blade does go and get increased, because we are going to be taking full advantage of Chromatic Blade. The same thing can be said with Furious Javelin. This will then allow us to go and increase our overall damage by 15%. Now remember, 15% is the base damage or the base value of this particular augment, which does scale based off of power strength. The more power strength you guys have, the more potent Furious Javelin will go and be. The same thing can be said with Chromatic Blade. Chromatic Blade just allows you to then go and give you more stage chance on your weapon, but also allows you to then go and have elemental damage on your innate elemental damage on your exalted based weapon based off of your current energy color. Next up is, because this is steel path, we're going to be needing survivability, so we're going to be including adaptation along for rolling guard. Adaptation will allow us to go and resist any form of damage that is thrown to us up to 90%. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst whatsoever. Rolling guard to then give us those couple of seconds of invulnerability, because the enemies will one-shot you, and it's always great to have a break from the squad, especially if you guys are either running low on energy, running low on health. It just helps you to then go and retreat and then come back into the fight. Now, because we're going to be having an energy pool and we can then go and tank a good amount of the shots along with having some constant health regeneration, we're then going to be using rage, which will then make sure that we always have energy up constantly, because remember, we're going to be going between blood altar, radial blind, radial javelin, and of course our exalted based ability. So it only makes sense to go and make sure we have rage, therefore we can go and tank all of these shots. Now, one thing I do want to say is Archon Intensify does get activated if we are going to be using Blood Altar, because remember, these enemies will then keep hitting us, we'll therefore heal ourselves with Blood Altar, because that's how you then go and activate Archon Intensify. Blood Altar will go and heal us. And the other arcane is called Molt Augmented, which will then allow us to be given extra power strength for every kill we then go and get, which does cap out at 250 kills. So get 250 kills, you'll then get around 40 to 60% extra power strength. I, however, only have it at rank 4, so I'm not too sure what the exact power strength limit is, but we're going to be getting around 40 to 60% somewhere around the addition to what we currently do have. Therefore, we can increase our Chromatic Blade, Furious Javelin, and of course the Blood Altar, Blood Altar's potency. And of course, Prime Flow for a much larger energy pool. Therefore, we can then go and use all of our abilities without any energy restriction whatsoever. Another thing I do want to mention is you want to then go and have a stat stick. Now, a stat stick is basically a weapon that acts as a vessel to therefore go and hold 3 particular mods in total. That being Gladiator Rush, Gladiator Might, and Gladiator Vice. Coupled with these 3, you'll then be able to go and increase your overall critical chance on your blade. Now, one thing I do want to say is you can go and add these particular 3 mods to your Warframe itself. However, you're going to be sacrificing a ton of survivability, because what you can do, add both of these mods to your Warframe. Therefore, you can have the full stat bonus to your advantage. Therefore, you'll be able to go and orange crit at a constant rate. Now, our school tree is very important just because of the fact that it can then go and give us an additional critical chance. I'm going to be referring to Naramon, and the way it works is simple. If you then go and initiate a finisher as your operator, you'll immediately then go and switch to your Warframe, therefore giving you an increase to your melee critical chance by 50% for 40 seconds. Very useful, very potent, therefore you can just go and increase your overall critical chance, allowing you to then be in constant orange crit territory. Once again, if you want to increase your critical chance, you need to make sure that you've got the additional gladiator mods onto your Warframe itself, and make sure to go and physically hit them. Now, one thing I do want to say is you'll be able to go and initialize the finisher just by adding radial blind. And finally, we're moving on to the exalted blade itself. You guys didn't know, you can then go and add mods directly to it. Now, we haven't added any Forma to this build, mainly because of the fact that I ran out of Forma, because I was busy with I dumped in so many resources into making this particular build work that I literally ran out of resources. So remember, leave a like on the video. Now, one thing I do want to see or add is that this last section right here, I do suggest you then go and add Gladiator Might, which will then give you an additional critical damage, because remember, we're going to be dealing with critical chance. Therefore, adding critical damage is just going to then allow us to go and see big boy crits. But the build goes as follows: Prime Pressure Point for our base damage, Organ Shatter for critical damage because we are dealing with critical chance, Steel Charge or Sacrificial Steel to then go and increase our overall crit. We then got ourselves Verdant Scourge and Fever Strike for Toxin, Shocking Touch to then go and add Corrosive and Berserker Fury to then go and increase our attack speed. The faster you can swing your sword, the higher your DPS will be. Now, one thing I do want to mention is whatever your energy color will be determined by the actual innate damage of your actual Exalted Blade. As you guys can see, I have blue energy color, therefore by default my Exalted Blade is going to be having electrical damage. Default electrical. By adding more Toxin, you're then going to be adding a much more potent version of Corrosive. As you guys can tell, my overall damage on my Corrosive is 3000 damage and the heavy attacks are relatively high. Overall, a very potent build. So the way this build works is simple. What you want to then do is make sure that your combo multiplier is max. You don't want to hit them with your 1, therefore you can survive and potentially activate Archon Intensify. Once that's done, you then want to hit your number 2 to blind them, your number 3 to then buff yourself up, go up to them like so and execute them. Therefore you've got more critical chance, and as you guys can tell, we have a constant orange crit value. Not as constant as I would like to have it, but once again, like I said earlier, you're only going to be able to do it so much just because of the fact that you're going to be giving up a lot of survivability. So it's really up to you. Are you able to survive without the damage, or do you prefer to have damage but be a glass cannon? That's entirely up to you guys. I forgot to mention one thing, and that is how you guys can actually extend your combo duration. You can do this by equipping both a primary and a secondary weapon. Specifically on the weapon itself, don't worry about the build, this is actually irrelevant. What is most important is the arcane. As you guys can tell, this one is called Primary Dexterity, which is for the primary weapon, and it reads as follows. On melee kill, 60% damage for 20 seconds, which does stack up to 6 times. But we're mostly interested on its secondary effect, that being the combo duration. As you guys can tell, this arcane gives us an extra 7.5 seconds of combo duration. Now you guys can do the exact same thing on a secondary weapon. It's just going to be called Secondary Dexterity, and yes, they do go and stack. As you can tell, I'm going to be switching to another weapon. I'm going to give you guys an example here. As you can see, here is the Exalted Blade, and as it reads right here, it's called combo duration 12.5 seconds. Then if we go and equip a weapon, which I do know has it, which is the Euphona, as you guys can see, it's called Secondary Dexterity. It says 7.5 seconds of combo duration. If you now take a look at Exalted Blade, it now has an additional 20-second combo duration. So make sure to go and equip both these arcanes, and be sure to have both your primary and secondary weapons equipped to go and utilize the extra increase to your combo duration. Remember, you want to have more combo duration, therefore you have more leeway on when to go and reset. Therefore you can just go and attack the enemies without worrying about a surplus of enemies whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, I make some pretty awesome Warframe content, so if you would like to then go from 0 to hero as fast as human possible, go ahead and take a look at the rest of my videos. There will be some links down in the description to some playlists. There will be some on the top right, and some of them should be suggested to you guys at the screen now. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have liked this video, do remember to leave a like on this video. It does help me out substantially. Spark and click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos and streams. We also do have some merch store, so if you would like to then go and support your boy during these tough times, you can go and do so by taking a look at our merch store. Once again, we do have a Discord server, so if you need some assistance or would like to then go and hang out with yours truly, you can go and do so by joining the link down in the description to our Discord server. I'm make like a banana and split.